The Webtoon original series Lookism finally got itself an anime last week. 8 action-packed episodes dropped onto Netflix for you to watch this series and these characters come to life on the screen. No lie, I am so hyped about this anime. I finally got an anime about a Webtoon original series that I actually read and am fully caught up on. And the anime did not disappoint me. Seeing these fight scenes, character moments, and personal growth come to life is so rewarding. But as I just mentioned, there's an entire series behind the anime. A full 400 chapters filled with these characters, fight scenes, and more. And guess what? So far in the anime, we've only seen 30-ish episodes. That's right, only 30 out of 400. Now, the anime 100% does those 30 episodes justice, but I definitely don't think that it does this series justice, because this series is insane. You think having a kid have 2 bodies is intense? There's a lot in this series that you have yet to see. But of course, I'm getting ahead of myself. For those unaware, Lookism follows Daniel Park, an overweight loner, after basically being bullied out of his old school and heading to a new one seeking a new life, and quite literally gets one. Waking up in a tall, attractive, fit body, Daniel has lived his entire life at the bottom and now has a chance to be at the top. See how the world treats both his normal self and his hot, tall, attractive self. Daniel takes the chance on his new body and practically becomes the top of his school. His looks and his kindness make him loved, but also kind of hated. This is all stuff you can glean from the anime if you've watched it. Daniel becomes attractive and fit, a real rags to riches storyline. However, that didn't change who he is, as Daniel still remains the person who he was before. Someone who still just wanted friends. Someone who doesn't want to be treated poorly, someone who wanted the power to stand up for themselves, and he finally got that power, in the form of good looks and weirdly athletic abilities. Which brings me to the bigger picture. Lookism is a lot. To many, it's the strangest slice of life following one person in 2 bodies. To others, it's all about the fight scene, watching 2 masters of combat duel each other until a new master appears to come and fight. And both viewpoints are correct. The fight scenes and the slice of life story of friends and bullying has always been a staple of the series, and the aforementioned anime. However, while the series goes to some extreme places, involving affiliated groups, uniting the 4 major groups, a bunch of masters, teachers, and mysteries involving body swaps and such, honestly, the series does get insane. It has always been and always will be the weirdest and most action-packed series about acceptance. Between the 30th chapters we've seen adapted and the 370 plus series that you can read for free right now, one of the best aspects of this series is the characters. I mentioned this in my previous video on Lookism. They introduce so many characters that you're bound to find a new favorite one, but many can tie back into that thread of acceptance. Sure, that might sound crazy, but many of the main cast and many of the villains that the series introduces deal with this theme, in the lives they've lived before, during, and after, and who they're meeting, and most importantly, especially in the action series, what they're fighting for. One of the characters the anime spends a surprising amount of time on is Duke, someone who looks a lot more like Daniel's old self than his new self. Daniel thinks that they're the same, but he realizes that they are incredibly different. Not because of how they look, but because of who they are. Duke and Daniel looked quite similar, but Duke never let that get the better of him. He always pushed through the pain and the trauma, using it as fuel and inspiration for his songs. He never gave up even when no one would accept Duke for who he was. Even when he stunned everyone, he was never really accepted by anyone. He was even hesitant on Daniel's kindness, confusing it for pity and selfish intent. The reason this is so important is because there was a lesson there, something that Daniel needed to realize. Not only are there people in the same circumstance, but people who keep pushing forward despite their circumstances. And more importantly, back to that main theme of acceptance. I know I'm talking about it a lot, but because it's such an important overarching theme of the entire series. Lookism changes a lot throughout its series. Slice of life to action fight scenes to idol training to some really tragic backstories, a lot of bullying to gang wars, affiliated groups, way more. But the series has always been about acceptance. A series about people accepting one another and mainly themselves, learning and growing. You may have started Lookism because of the anime, maybe stuck around because of the action, or the fun character moments and the chemistry they have with each other, or because of the best character Jay, but I really do hope you check out the full series. And if you think it was good with only the first 30ish chapters, then you haven't seen anything yet. So if you want to catch up with the series before there's even more chapters, or when the second season hopefully hits Netflix, then make sure to check out Lookism, updating every week on Webtoon.